Hey, welcome back to Big Board. So Shane Logan is the designer of the old school tactical system from Flying Pig Games, which I'm a big fan of. One of my favorite World War II tactical systems, and it's been a long time coming. I've always had a wish that there would be a new modern tactical game that covered, stuff like in Afghanistan, for instance, which is, what do you know? What these guys are doing here. Now, Shane has had this published by VUCA, so they obviously have very high production quality standards, just like Flying Pigs does. And let's have a look inside the box. I've already got all the bits out. I've read the rules. We're ready to set a scenario up. I got it yesterday afternoon. We are ready to go. Comes with 2 dice, just in case you're wondering. Just kidding. It does come with 2 dice. All right, so satin finish box. Very subtle artwork. I like it. It's muted. We've got this kind of whole vibe on this sort of dusty, sandy nonsense of the stand. Now, there are a couple of things, and so we can, if you've watched or played any OST, if you've watched anyone play OST, or if you've played it yourself, you're going to pick this rule book up and go, oh, I got it. I am 100% down. Let's rock and roll, which is one of the reasons why I've read through the rule book and I'm really looking for differences more than anything else, because the game is consistently structured around the old school tactical model, which makes perfect sense to me, given that was Shane's design. So let's talk about component quality, the rule book, the what's in the box, but also what's new in the rules, and we'll focus in on that sort of stuff. And if I see anything that I need to highlight to you guys, if you've never played old school tactical before, then we'll do so. So nice box. 2 player aids that come in it. There's a player aid with some definitional stuff, the turn sequence markers, turn sequence track, the different markers. There are 3 states you're going to be in. You're either going to have casualties, be broken, or be shaken, or dead. So 4 states. And of course, obviously, the 5th state, would be that you're in good order. But there you go, because if I didn't say that, someone would frickin' correct me. Now, one thing that they have done, thank goodness, is reoriented the attack value combat results chart, both for vehicles, helicopters, etc. And rolling high is now consistently a good thing, which I think it was the reverse in the OST module. Now I'm thinking, was it? And I could pull out a chart, but let's keep recording because what the heck. I really like the layout. The layout here is very, very thoughtful. It's clean, it's logical, it's got nice little boxes for different ideas and concepts in the game. You'll note there's this concept of suppressive fire. That is going to be a new thing. Intensive fire here existed in prior versions of OST, and we're going to call this modern tactical. We're going to call this MT. We're going to call it modern tactical because that's what it is. It's not old school tactical. It's modern tactical, and also I'll try and stop cross-referencing to OST. Now there's another terrain chart that has images attached to this. So you can see what's what, but here's a text-based version of that. This indicates that it's going to be a bog roll required, no entry allowed, etc., some level discussions, and then you've got your vehicle results. You've got your helicopter combat tables and stuff like that. Helicopters as a target, I should say. There's going to be follow-up rolls. I would have to have a look at that. I quick read the rules for helos because the first scenario I'm playing is not using them, so we're not going to worry about it. That's your player rate. There are two of these in the game. Other combats, so off-board strikes, how mortar teams work, how melee works. Now, melee is a little bit different from most games in that both sides will be in the same hex, and you will add up all the combat attack values and defensive values for both teams, and then you'll net those out, and you will then roll on the table. Both sides will roll on the table for each individual unit in the melee, and apply the results all simultaneously. That's all fun and games. It's not too unusual, but it's just a little bit different. Now, the game also comes with these data cards for the various unit types, right? A lot of Canadians in this. And I was curious. I hadn't seen a note back from Shane, because I posed a couple of quick questions. Because it's 50% of the scenarios are Canadian units, and so I was just curious. Obviously, they're all in here. The G-Wagons, Special Forces, LAVs, and Laws. That's all that sort of stuff, right? It's all NATO standard kit, basically. There's probably some exceptions to that. Then you got the bad guys with their little Muslim extremist idiots. Fighting age males, leaders, snipers, technical bombers, technicals, which is a vehicle, suicide vest chappies, fanatics, regular fighters, and recruits. US will have the Apaches and the Blackhawks and Hellfire missiles, the Humvees, various types. Other vehicles, I don't even know what a Max Pro is. I think that might be one of those bomb clearing equipments. Yeah, MRAP, while transporting MRAP mines. So there we go. ATGM teams, heavy machine guns of 50 cals, leaders, lights, mortars, rangers are in it as a special unit. They're treated as a SOF unit. They'll have stealth movement capabilities, will be one of the things they can do. And then you've got your sniper and your striker vehicles and Chinooks and all sorts of goodies. So lots of cool shit in the box for sure. Now, only quibble. Hey, this guy is longer than everything else that's when it's packaged up in the box. And so when it's in the box, it folds over and it got bent in the box as stuff moved around. That was my only quibble, but that's that little terrain chart I was telling you about. You've got your turn track here. Nice little thing here is that at the final turn, you're going to roll to see if there's one more turn to the scenario. I like that. Means it's sort of you don't know if the scenario is really going to end just now. There are two maps in the game. One is this kind of rough terrain looking little village, and there's hill and woods and marijuana fields and all sorts of fun stuff. And these are going to be the poppy fields, marijuana fields, I guess. Well, it says crops. Where is the marijuana stuff? Where did I see that? Why did I say marijuana? Yeah, there it is, right there. I mean, it could have bit me right here. Just different terrain. So nice thematic touch on all that. Okay, we'll look at this big map in a second. Playbook, I think there's 20 scenarios in here. Once again, full color, a little bit of background. Then you've got some special units and rules for this particular module. And then, which in fact, I will have to read these before we set up. Yeah, 20 scenarios. That's a banger. That's a lot of bang for buck. That's pretty cool. And we will be picking something fun to play in this. I will probably use U.S. forces, ideally Rangers, just for the heck of it. If I can find one that is also a day turn scenario and not a night turn scenario. I'd like one that also has civilians in it, because this has civilians and hostages and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So some info markers for terrain. We can see we're going to have to do breaches, which is an interesting thing. It's a die roll you'll need to make when you move adjacent into that melee posture. if you know the modern tactical system uses a similar thing from OST, where every unit is going to have 2 actions in a turn, and you probably know that there are a number of action points or impulse points that are available per turn per side, based on a 1, 2, or 3d6 roll. That will determine how many points you're going to have to activate units for a turn. So breaches are important. If you're attacking a building, you're going to need to be able to do those successfully or suffer penalties when you're in melee. Let's see, let's get your little Humvees here. Now, I will say, like, these counters are very nice. They feel good. Obviously, they're the easy punch, not stuff. But they're a little thin to my mind, and maybe that is the VUCA way. I'm thinking the last couple of VUCA games I've had, the counters were a little bit thicker, but these are larger and certainly very nice from that perspective. All right, so we got your bomber guys, we got your snipers, LMGs, RPGs. Here's civilians that are tangled. They're entangled with in the same hex as the good guys or the bad guys. Some wreck markers. And they're the civilians just in the normal mode, where they're just hanging around in a hex. We'll talk about casualty points and stuff in a sec if I remember. But as you, we might as well talk about it now. As you are involved in combat and start accruing losses, you will accrue casualty points, which will negatively impact the number of activations you will have in a turn. That's our bombers, our fighters, etc. Dumbass recruits. A couple of leaders. And they're on their full strength side. Demolition packs. Carl don't care. Carl Gustav. You'll know if you've read any of the Forgotten Ruin books, what I'm referencing when I say Carl don't care. All right, so engineers are also important. There's some Canadian JTF chappies. More info markers. I'm not sure, there's not a lot of info markers for tracking stuff. That's interesting. Maybe there's not going to be a lot of units on the map. All right, US troops. Leaders, Rangers. You'll see the Rangers have very high morale. Much more, where's the regular guys? Same firepower, same range, same defense factor, but a higher morale. And you'll see if you compare that to the, where are these fighters here? There we go. And then you've got the morales here for these guys as well. No, that's, what am I saying? That's the movement factor, ding dong. The morales are standard per scenario, but basically standard per class. That's not these 5s. This is the movement rate. Sorry about that. I was thinking in my mind, because these guys have the lower the number, the better, because you get rolling 2d6 to do a morale check, or what used to be called a gut check, but is a morale check. You'll need to roll. You want to have a low morale so that you can roll high to be successful in either recovery or doing a morale check before certain activities. My apologies. So the higher the morale number, the worse the quality of the units, and you'll see that here in the playbook. We'll see that the morale check for Canadians is 7, Afghans 9, not so great, right? Coalition guys 8 for the insurgents. If we find some US guys, we'll see that this equivalent. Now this says gut check. I guess that's just a little oversight in terms of proofing and whatnot, but same thing, morale check there. All right. Just wanted to clarify that. My apologies. Don't go yelling at me because I got it wrong. I guess these are coalition dudes. They look like they suck. Right? Combat value of 2. Awesome. Firepower of 2, should say. All right, so look, counters. Interesting, sparse sparse number of counters for keeping track of things. Another play aid. Let's move that out of the way. Now, this is what you're going to use to run your game. One for each side, coalition and insurgents. As you can see on the top right-hand side, you can have your victory point accumulation for losses and capturing points on the map or whatever the case may be, and then your casualty points, and then the impulse points that you will receive with the modifiers based on every 5 casualty points that you accrue. Super straightforward. All right, now look at this map. I'm going to lift this up because this is pretty cool. Big map, big hexes, lots of stuff going on. It's a muted color palette, but it's not pastel-y. It's got an excellent vibe to it that evokes the what I would imagine the terrain would be like. Now, this looks more like a village / town / probably not a city because it's not dense enough. But you can see all the buildings here and fortified, walled compounds and all sorts of good stuff like that. Super interesting. That's going to be fun to play on. I'm pretty excited about it. What is interesting, I will say, that's probably a leading indicator that, let me just look at the vehicles real quickly before I say anything. So we've got leopard tanks. Yeah, I didn't see. Yeah, so in the rules, there are references to and examples of vehicle actions with Soviet T-80s. So that tells me someone is probably working on a new module already to get us a second volume. I don't know what the topic's going to be. I don't know where it's going to be, but I do know we're going to have Soviets and Polish units. That could be very interesting. Modern tactics. Now, I said I was going to show you some of the differences in the rules, and let's do that real quick. This, as I mentioned, it's an impulse or action point system that we roll dice to develop. There is the concept of breaching. There's backblast areas, so you can't use certain weapons inside. Obviously, ammo stuff. Here's the other cool thing that I thought was interesting. When you run out of ammo, you can flip your weapon team over, and it becomes like a half squad. And so they can then, get after it and go be part of the action if they happen to run out of ammo. Because when you do run out of ammo, you are done for the game, and there will be no more ammo for you. So you then obviously will switch to your carbines and rifles or whatever it is you're using, depending on the module, obviously enough. All right, so I wanted to show you one thing I thought was cool in here, if I can find it real quick. IEDs are present as well. Mines are present. So engineers are going to have to go through and try and clear mines, find these IEDs. They will be exposed to you as a hidden element in the game. So that might cause a few problems for those who have challenges having a split personality and playing both sides by themselves. But trust me, you'll work it out. And if not, don't buy it. You'll miss out. So data cards, battlefield. So you got to do your IED checking and all this other groovy stuff. I love that stuff. Talks about mines and bunkers and foxholes and cover. That's all standard. But suppressive fire, where is it? We're coming up on it. We've got ruins. Here's that unit quality that I was talking about earlier on. 2 actions per turn, as I mentioned. The hidden units. That's going to be all fun and games, I think. You can consolidate half teams, half squads, and create a full squad. That's a nice touch. Stealth movement, I think, is also in the World War II system. This rolling cover is a common concept, as is the bogged down stuff. You'll see that in the older system as well. Collateral damage is interesting. There's building collapses and stuff like that. that you'll have to be thoughtful about what you're shooting at and what with what. RPGs can be fired at human targets as well, or soft targets. Where is this suppressive? Yeah, suppressive fire. So suppressive fire, super interesting in that you can apply firepower to each unit in the hex, or is it to the hex? Now he forgets. Yeah, target hex. So everyone in that hex will be suppressed if you're successful with your exercise, and that's going to make you pass a morale check in order to do any action. And then when you do an action, you're going to be halved and all sorts of fun stuff, and have negative DRMs applied against you. Fire groups are in the old system, as is in intensive fire. But that's one of the new things, was the suppressive fire. Obviously, it's got to be like heavy MGs and stuff like that do it. And then vehicle combat is all the same, pretty much, as is, I mentioned the melee very, very briefly. There's also tank duels as well. Not that we'll be seeing a lot of that in this module necessarily. And then you've got your helos and your air. And there's crash landings and the damage to the helos and all that sort of fun stuff. And then the civilians. And then this idea of contacts, which are going to come into play basically randomly. There's a phase for it to be applied in the sequence of play. All right, all this stuff is all pretty standard stuff as well, so it's all pretty straightforward. There's 40, what are we talking about here? Including appendices, 48 pages. It's really well laid out. There's a lot of diagrams in here. You're probably looking at 30 pages of rules, at very clear point-based system. As I said, full color. There's some glossary nonsense at the front and welcome to modern tactics. So, 28 pages. Let's call it 28 pages of rules. Do yourself a favor. If you want to play modern combat, modern tactical combat, this might be the go-to guy for the future. Who knows? We'll see. Starting probably tomorrow morning, we'll be rolling dice and getting after it. Talk to you guys soon.